Nick Shirley's back. He did Minnesota, and he headed to California, and now he went from daycares to talking about old people and the fraudulent stuff that's happening over there. And I'll tell you what, I watched the entire video today, but we're just going to watch the opening teaser here and then talk about it. And there's an additional clip that I want to show as well. That's pretty heartbreaking here. But this is the opening to the 40-minute video he did, which already has 6 million views over on X.
This is the sound of hospice money. Could you just answer the question, what's the need for 1,000% increase in hospice care here inside of LA? Do you have the paperwork to enroll a little boy by the name of Joey?
You don't know what's going on?
Well, it says there's 14 children enrolled here on the state of California. That there is $6,000 per beneficiary. Can you give us any explanation? Where can we open a hospice at? Get the Maybach just like you.
California may have the largest amount of fraud in the country, as California is the state with the highest taxes and collects more money than any other state in America. It is filled with fraud. California's version of Medicaid, called Medi-Cal, has more than doubled since 2022 from $108 billion to a proposed $222 billion in 2026. Their population, however, has not grown exponentially. However, their spending has. There has been 1,000% increase in hospice care in the Los Angeles County. In fact, 1 out of every $10 of home health care in America is spent in Los Angeles. On top of that, their government-funded daycare programs are filled with violations. While they continue to give money to these fraudsters, it is estimated that the fraud in California could be in the hundreds of billions of dollars. In this video, we'll be going face to face with these fraudsters, confronting them as they defraud the American taxpayer out of millions and billions of dollars as they live their lives in luxury, driving around luxurious cars that cost more than $100,000 that you actually paid for. Let's start first by going to these daycares filled with violations that still continue to receive money from the government.
All right, so similar to the last time, the super viral video that kind of kicked off, I mean, that was legitimately a movement that it caused, spreading all the way up to the President of the United States. He talked about how he saw the Nick Shirley video himself, which is kind of crazy to think about. But similar to that video, he goes around this time to hospices. He does some daycares here. Did anybody else get a chance to watch this entire video yet? Nope.
No, but I want to.
Okay. Very similar here. There are, he goes from, hospice is the big business in California, and he goes to several places. There's one that's like an old hotel that I guess it'd be like a motel. Motels have the doors on the outside, right? That have been renovated to an office space, and like every single one is hospice care. And they're all receiving millions of dollars. And inside of the parking lot, as he said, there's BMWs, crazy cars worth $200,000 that are all ridiculously well off. And there's nobody in any of these office spaces for hospice care. It's similar to last video, just with hospice stuff here. But he does early on talk about daycares and a couple daycares. And he goes, I think the thing about Nick Shirley, which is interesting, is he shows up and he shows you is exactly what he finds. It's not, I don't think he like deceptively edits things at all, because he does show up. And when there's people there, he says, hey, there's people here. You know, there are people here. And I think that's good. That's transparent. It's not like he's going around and saying, well, we went to one and there was people there. We just didn't want to show it to you because it wasn't there. Like, he's actually showing that, well, there's a couple of people here, right? But there's not as many kids as there's supposed to be, but there are people actually working here, and it is an actual business. So I think that's a good thing here. One of the things that he did find here when it comes to this daycare, the daycare scheme was, well, I'll tell you what, I just want the footage to kind of speak for itself, because this is probably the saddest part of the entire little mini documentary that he shot.
Now let's go to another one that's even more concerning, as kids are left all alone.
Now we're at the Jama Shukri Family Childcare. This place is not a shopping plaza. It's not anywhere near any place that looks like a place where a daycare would be. In fact, it's actually in one of these apartments right here. So they're able to have daycares inside apartment buildings?
Yes.
So I've come across many of these. Some of these are on the third story of an apartment complex. It's only 1 bedroom, and yet the capacity is for 8 kids.
We just arrived at the daycare. We have 2 kids out here. I don't know if they're members of the daycare. There's no oversight right here. Can we talk to your teacher? Is your teacher there? So this is the first child we've ever encountered at one of these daycares. There's 2 kids out here right now, and we're gonna see if we can talk to the
Licensee. It is, according to this paperwork, Shukri Jama.
Can we talk to the adult?
He is not here.
Not here.
Yeah.
So you guys all by yourself?
Yeah. No open the door.
No one's here.
No one is here. No one is not here.
Okay, so you guys are all by yourself?
Okay. I can see by myself.
Yeah, okay, that's concerning. No one's watching those children. and they're all by
Straight to
themselves.
jail.
My heart is.
Yeah, straight to jail, 100%. Those kids are probably 6 years old. Tops. You just tell by the way they speak, and I think that brings up a larger question here. Obviously, when you're dealing with a daycare and there's nobody there, that's obviously one violation. But just from like CPS should be called clearly on those parents, as they're just going to leave their super tiny kids at home, that are 4, 5, and 6. Nobody's watching them, and that is heartbreaking stuff to see. Rev Straub, table's yours.
Did they call the police? Did they call CPS? Did he say that in the video at all, or?
Well, let's find out. Let's play this last 25 seconds. I don't recall them saying that, because I do think that would have been a necessary action in this situation.
Yeah.
It's breaking right now. I can't. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and what makes you so emotional as a mother, seeing that those kids are just out by themselves?
Seeing the kids all by themselves. It's supposed to be a licensed daycare, and there's no adult anywhere. What is going on?
And the crazy thing is, California allocates $6 billion to childcare and daycare facilities just like these, and there are over 39,000 facilities in the state.
What a mess.
Maybe they just didn't say it. I mean, you would think they would have said that they call. I don't know.
Well, and I'm sure at this point someone's made a call, whether it was made through the or through his report or not. But like that's an example of they found kids of this one. And it's worse, actually. The fraud is bad enough. This is actually the worst result. Where there are actually kids there, they're still committing fraud at some level. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're putting kids in danger.
Well, what's interesting is he actually shows on the screen the address to this place, which some people say that's doxing. No. This is publicly available information right here that is receiving public tax money here. I'm guessing this is just a residence that was looking to skim some money off the top and got caught and is going to get caught. And honestly, will probably end up losing their children. I say honestly, hopefully ends up losing their children, because that is despicable and disgusting. What's even more despicable and disgusting is the response from the official account for the press office of California Governor Gavin Newsom. Have you guys seen the response that they put out?
Yes, unfortunately.
It is disgusting. This is an official account here. Once again, official account for the press office of Gavin Newsom. Hashtag California for all. Nick Shirley right now. Hey, can I see your kids?
How does this not radicalize people?
I don't know.
I don't understand. I mean, I personally hate the whole, I've talked about it before. I hate the whole meme culture that has, gotten into, official political accounts. I know it's probably not going to be a popular opinion with a lot of people. I don't like it when the White House does it. I don't like it when any of them do it. But especially when it gets stuff like this. This is, next level, quote-unquote meme. It's not funny. It's like an accusation. And then for it to be a legitimate account like for an office of the U.S. It's just crazy.
Well, and I feel like with Gavin Newsom, like people should hold him accountable for what that official account is saying. Like he's not running it. Everyone knows he's not sitting there making memes. He has a team that does this for him of interns or whatever. But like, if he's going to a press conference, like this is such a big deal to me, honestly, that like he should be confronted. Like in your name, they're making this, what I feel like is an allegation, by the way. They're trying to insinuate something about Nick Shirley or anyone who cares about this. You should have to answer for it. It's through your official government-sponsored Twitter account. And it just goes back to what happened with these Somali daycares, where they're trying to turn this narrative where you're basically a predator because you care about the safety of children, because you're trying to expose fraud. And in this case, with this particular set of stories, you're literally trying to make sure kids are not in an unsafe environment, but that makes you somehow a predator. It's so gross.
It also just makes no sense because, like, like you said, obviously Gavin Newsom's not sitting there making these memes himself. However, regardless of all of that, by now I'm sure he's seen it. He should be aware. If he's not aware, that's also like negligence on his part if he's not at all paying attention to what people are posting about him on his behalf. But like, you would think the moment he saw that, he would be like, delete that. Whoever made that, you're fired. We're making some kind of statement saying that was not, I had nothing to do with that. Like something for like damage control, because I mean, that's just disgusting. And it is an allegation.
It's gross. I think that's the best way to say it. It's just gross, right? You would think that, I don't want to get all like, bleeding heart here, but like when you're talking about exposing fraud and your best response is to more or less label him a weird creeper here, like this is it. Not a single response about the actual findings that he had. And Nick Shirley literally just ratios the hell out of him here.
A beautiful ratio.
Yes. You do realize I'm trying to help America eliminate fraud and waste, right? No need to try and make me look like the bad guy for exposing fraud. People are over it. Start working for the people and not against them.
Wow. So like respectful and classy. Like honestly, what a response.
Look, Nick Shirley is not perfect, right? You may have spelling errors, all whatever. People are like, this is your guy. Look, at the end of the day, dude is just, his job is to take his camera out, point it at people, ask a few questions. And people go, is he a journalist? Yes, he is a journalist. Absolutely. Because he's taking the resources that are available to him, going out and exposing this stuff for exactly what it is. And letting the footage do the talking here. It's not deceptively edited by any means. He's just showing you that the little kids are there by himself. Now, I want to get into a later part of the video because it's more than just daycares. Like I said, it is about the old people hospice care over here. But Adam Carolla actually retweeted, quote tweeted the Gavin Newsom press office account. It says, this is exactly how a corrupt governor responds when someone starts exposing fraud. And I think you got to remember, this dude is number one on the depth chart to potentially be the Democratic candidate for the president of the United States next cycle. This is number one. And this is how they respond. This is like to the idea of fraud. We have one administration trying to clean it all up. The other one just saying, well, let's just keep patting our pockets over here. I don't get it. I just truly don't understand. Phoenix?
Well, I think all these people are colostomy bags, but the thing is, like, that is the proper response for that team. You have to remember that your voters look at headlines or memes, the end. They don't investigate anything because everything around them echoes that they're right and just and everyone else is stupid. So they don't need to go and look at facts from them because they have their news. And so the news is for intelligent people and the other people have their Fox News, even though most of us don't watch Fox News. But that's their little thing that they go by, right? So if you were to, again, just to be clear, I hate Gavin Newsom, but that was the right response because this is just like saying, cool info, you're fat. And that's all that side needs to hear is, yeah, see, there's the bad guy. You put a picture to it. See, he's a predator. That's an easy thing you can run by. Now Nick is a predator of sorts because they don't do any work at all in their mind of looking at anything. Had Newsom went out and said, tried to defend himself or did anything, well, then that becomes a headline. And you don't want that. You want this just quickly buried because no one's going to look at it. So this is what you do. It's actually a perfect tactic on his part, as much as I hate him.
No, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And it's extremely disheartening to see that. So, man, that sucks. Well, I go back to what I said previously. I think that when you see things like this exposed, whether it's Minnesota, New York, Texas, California, I don't care. I don't care. Talk to me when somebody's held accountable. Talk to me when those guys go to jail. Talk to me when the funding stops. That's really what I care about. There's one last piece of the video, and he actually, I talked about the hotel he went to that's kind of been converted. He opened up talking about how there's rumors that it's an Armenian gang front or Armenian Mafia front, and all the people there were like Armenian and such. And he's knocking on doors saying, hey, where's this money? They're all their super nice cars out in the middle of the courtyard of this thing. Nick Shirley's going to end up shot. He's going to
Yeah, I'm worried about
tap on
that.
the wrong door, and it's when you're dealing with that stuff, man, you're dealing with some crazy people over here.
There's a
You're
better
dealing with
chance
crazy
of him,
people and huge amounts of money too.
Yeah.
I would argue there's a better chance of a leftist shooting him.
Yeah,
Far
right.
more dangerous than any gang out there.
I hear that.
Hot take, but it's kind of accurate.
He's still not going out with any security. And that's the thing that I think is most the craziest thing. He's just going out with him and whoever
he
he's
has
out
no
with.
security at all.
No.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I don't feel like that's probably the smartest decision. I mean, you would wish that you wouldn't need it, that you could just knock on someone's door and like ask a basic question and they wouldn't be a psychopath and murder you. But we don't live in a normal world, so.
But I agree with Phoenix. I'm more concerned about some crazy extreme leftist going out there to silence him than one of these gangs he's approaching or these shady figures, because they hate what he's doing. Like, again, I mean, this is not anything new here, but the way everything is so politicized, we can't even agree on blatant fraud being bad. Like, we could all just say, yeah, that's bad. And even to levels where, you have illegals getting involved, you have dangerous gangs being involved. Like, can we please just agree that this is bad? But no, we have the governor of California being represented by a meme calling the guy exposing it as a predator.